I got an email message from Australia's Got Talent, and they said that they had seen the information that was shared with them about my season 15 America's Got Talent audition, and Australia was the only country in the world that didn't have COVID. They were their own island, so I mean it's not easy to spread across those oceans. So they said to me, "Would you be interested in going?" And at that point, I'd been home for so long that I was excited to go anywhere. Let's be honest, okay? If they wanted me to go to the corner store, I would have said yes. Yeah. Okay, so I said, "Yeah, what do you want to do?" And they said, "Well, we seen that you in your AGT season 15 audition, you were going to do a crane escape with a box, but we don't have any outdoor venues that will allow that. You have to come up with something indoors." So I'm like, all right. And they said, "Well, you're an escape artist. It shouldn't be an issue. So perhaps you can come up with a couple of ideas." And I said, "Yeah, no, this is what we do." It's not what we do. But I said, this is what we do. And so they said, "Well, we have a very short window of run. So what we're going to do is we're going to work out the flight and we're going to get you here, and we will work out the logistics in the course of the next few weeks." And I said, "Okay, great. When would you like me to come?" And they said, "We would like you to come right away." So for me, never been to Australia. This is super exciting. And I've been locked in my house for the last year or so. So the idea of going anywhere is super exciting. So we had worked out that I would go to Australia. Equally, I was super excited. I, of course, told my family and celebrated the idea. And
they couldn't come with you, though?
No.
That wasn't part of the deal?
It was just me.
Gotcha.
A couple of days into finding out that I was going to Australia, my eldest son passed away.
Right.
Yeah, my beautiful son in his early 20s, he got an infection from some minor dental surgery, and he passed away. So here I am going into Australia's Got Talent, certainly super excited and dealing with probably the hardest thing that anybody should ever have to deal with in their life. There's no question. And I share that story with you, not to drag that portion on, but at least to tell you where my mental state was as I'm leaving my family. So it delayed my flights to Australia. It delayed me leaving because certainly I had things that needed to be dealt with at home, more important things. But in contacting the producers, I just said, "This is what's going on." And they said, "You take the time for you." You know what I mean? Like, you do what you need to do and let us know. So a couple of weeks had went by, and we were getting close to the "you better get here" point. And I took the opportunity to really get away, and life goes on. That's something that you'll hear in every story I share with you, is with all the trials and tribulations we go through in life, everything, all of the hardships, life goes on. You got to find a reason to find light in every single day. And I was going to use this opportunity just to try to get my self mentally in a better position and get through a very trying time. So we did. I reached to my good friend Bill, who travels with me a great deal, and I contacted him and said, "Well, bud, this time we are going to Australia." And he equally was just as excited to be anywhere but where we were. And he was super excited to decide that we were going to travel somewhere. And because of that, he said, "Let's go." And that's what we did. So this screen.
Is Bill involved in your actual?
Hold on. Let me just correct this issue.
Yeah. Let me know when you're ready.
We're good. We can go back on now. I said to Bill, like, "Let's go," and we're going to the next place. And
is Bill involved in the actual escapes, or is he just your ultimate hype man kind of guy?
Yeah, no. He's not. Listen, this is the funny part of this career, is I don't do this for a living. So when I get a call, I have to, it's not easy to find staff, okay? Because you have to say to somebody, we're going away. We don't know when we're coming back. And there's no money. And so let's go. So you need somebody who's either unemployed or they're financially stable, or in Bill's case, he's just like, yeah, whatever, let's go. And Bill has been one of my best friends for 40 years, and he's that guy that if I call, he's like, yep, bro, whatever you want. And
no kidding.
He by trade, he's a master licensed electrician. So he has his rigger license and all of this stuff. Very intelligent man, somebody I care about a great deal. But he's the wingman. He's like, yep, let's go. What are we doing? And
nice.
So we have to reverse engineer everything that we do. So anyway, we jump on a plane. Here we go again. And it's COVID, so there's no people. We go to the airport, and it's Bill and I. It seems like a reoccurring story for us. It's Bill and I in an airport all by ourselves, and there's no. You know what's great about this? There's no security. You can just go.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah, you just. This is it. Look at this is us at the airport walking through.
Yeah.
Nobody. They have one attendant with us that's walking us to a plane, and we're going to a plane to Australia, a 26-hour flight. We're the only people in the airport. Actually, there's some people way in the back corner there, but I mean, really, why do they put the TVs on and all the iPads with no people there? I gotta ask you.
Yeah, for real. Nobody's gonna be there.
No one's there. So we get on a plane. I have never been to Australia, and they got us just standard tickets to fly to Australia, but it was me and Bill and 11 flight attendants on a huge plane. So they let us sit wherever we want. Okay. So
gotcha.
I'm in 1D. I took the first row, and the reason why I picked 1D is because he is in the row beside me, and there's a little pull down thing between us so we can talk or I can close it off. And it turns out if you're wealthy, the seats are real nice. Like, I mean, they lay down, you got internet, you got TV, you got all of the good stuff. So for those of you that are financially successful out there, the Mr. Beasts of the world who do real well and have all of this money, I'm going to say to you, you guys fly in with class. It is great. So you still have to wear the mask.
Like the cost of a first class ticket from Canada to Australia, it's got to be like $15,000 or $16,000 minimum.
Listen, it would not surprise me if it is, and if anybody knows, comment and tell us what a cost of a flight would be. But I'm sure that Australia's Got Talent got us the basic tickets, but because we were the only people, we got the good tickets. So so here we are with a mask on and all the good stuff. And the food.
Headphones too. Look at the food. My goodness.
The food.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And listen, wine,
salted caramel ice cream.
Buddy,
oh my goodness.
We were set up. Look at this. Okay. Okay. And because it was just him and I, you could have as many if you want. You know, they probably had a couple of dozen on there just in case, right?
No
so
kidding,
so the food was second to none the whole time, and it was 26 long hours. Oh, I got a little ahead of myself. We land in Australia. And this, I can't make this up, okay? We land, and we get out of the plane and walk in, and there's like 6 or 8 military men with machine guns with like hazmat suits on.
Right, no kidding.
Because Australia is a COVID-free country, and they're not taking any chances. And I'm not kidding. Machine guns. It was ridiculous. And me and Bill walk out like, what is going on? And they put us. They walk us into a bus, and the bus driver's got like a hazmat suit on, and we get on the bus, and he drives us to what's called the COVID hotel. Now, I do want you to know, I don't know what's going on. We're in a COVID-free country. Like we had to take COVID tests before we got on the plane. Like, what's going on, right? Yeah. So they take us to this hotel. We go into the hotel, into the back entrance, into the like basement entrance. We have to take off our clothes, privately, and then we put on like the paper gowns like you're at the hospital. We signed a bunch of papers. They bring us to our hotel room, and they say, you have to be in this hotel room, and we have to make sure you're COVID free. So they said, we're going to put you into your room, and someone will call you with the information. And the military man says, don't open your door. He said, there will be somebody stationed in the hallway full time, and we put a sticker on your door. If the sticker is ripped, you go home.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm like, all right, and I know we're going to get a call shortly, so I figure, you know what I mean, we're going to, I don't know, we have to shower, we got to scrub our nails, I don't know what's going to happen, we're going to take a pill, maybe a couple COVID tests, we'll see what happens, right? So they bring us our first meal.
Are you in the same room as Bill, or did you at least get separate? So you didn't get to see Bill during this time?
No, and I'll tell you about that. Yeah, the one person I knew, he was in the room next to me, but even if we banged on the wall, we couldn't hear each other.
It's a Morse code going on.
That's it. This is our first meal. It is not a sexy meal, okay? Considering we just had first-class food on an airplane, this was a sad state of affairs. And the food would come in a box like this. And this is what you got. It would be some crackers, some pastry, some juice. You got to remember, we're locked in a room, no food, no groceries, no anything. You're alone in a room, and this shows up at the door. And what happens is they put it at the base of the door. They bang on the door like that. Yeah. And then you stand at the door, and someone says, "Clear!" And then you open the door, you take the food, you close the door, then they come over and put a new sticker on.
No way.
Oh, my God. So anyway,
such a weird life.
Oh
Can't believe that was reality for a while.
Yeah, every day the food came, and there was nothing nice about the food. I got to say to you, there was not. It just this is a meal. What is that? What?
Yeah. Okay.
So we had to come up with something that I needed to do.
Ooh.
So I had brought these hooks because I was going to do something fantastic for Australia. And each, by the way, they didn't tell us how long we were going to be. We're in there for the first few days, and they're calling us. And I have a laptop, so we're able to do a video call like you and I are doing now. And we're able to say, what about this? What about that? And me and Bill are using our apps to talk to each other. We've set it up in the room so that we can at least talk to one another as we figure out what's going on. The food keeps coming. It's just horrible. What is that? What is that? That is anyway. So they. Oh my God! I'm talking to Bill, and Bill's diabetic, as you can see. Well, when they called me, they said, "Do you want chocolate cake?" And I said, "I would love chocolate cake." And I said, "Give me Bill's." And they said, "Well, we should give it to Bill." I said, "You can't. He's diabetic." Well, he never told them he was diabetic. Okay.
Oh my God.
So he calls me and he says, "You told him I was diabetic." I was like, "Yeah, well, didn't you tell him you were diabetic?" He was like, "No." So his food got way worse than our already horrible food from that point.
Geez, you outed him.
I outed him. He was pretty mad at me, actually. But
I bet.
In the end, we found out that we were going to be in that room for 16 days.
Okay.
Alone. So
Yikes.
I took the TV off the wall and I made my own little desk setup because I was committed. I moved the furniture around and I was set up. And then I would.
Did you have a balcony, or how'd you get fresh air?
Nope, there was a window, no balcony. You had the air conditioning. The windows wouldn't open. There was nothing. And aside from this phone cord that you can see in this picture, they took our shoelaces, anything that you could harm yourself with, out of the room.
Really?
Isn't that ridiculous? Yeah, I'm not joking. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they had therapy people call us a few times a day to ask about our mental health and ask how we were doing. And because I had just lost my son, I was on major, not only did they call, if I was in the shower or using the bathroom and I didn't answer the phone, they'd have someone bang on my door and call to me. Like, they weren't taking any chances with me. So I had this
is like Australia doing it for you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
this is like Australia doing it for you. This is not Australia's Got Talent calling you and checking in all the time.
No, we're not at that point
country,
yet. The country has got us on lockdown because they want to make sure that we don't have COVID.
And they have therapists that are calling you and making sure that you're okay. Meanwhile, Australia's Got Talent is just waiting for you to clear, it sounds like.
I have to clear to get on the show. right?
Right.
So anyway, I must say, if anyone from Australia is watching, they gave me the best therapy, best people calling. If I needed anything, like, I could have asked for it, but I mean, I was locked in the room with crappy food. Like, I mean, in the end, that was it. I did ask for a couple things. I asked for a couple of dry erase markers and a bowl and some Mr. Noodles, like just some things that they did get to me. But you can see my dry erasers right here on the
Right.
Anyway, we had to come up with ideas. So I was constantly sending them pictures like this. What if we do this?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
if you wonder what it takes to get on a show, this is what happens.
Gosh.
You're
What the heck's going on
creating.
here?
Oh my god! You're trying to create something that nobody, some dangerous thing that nobody has ever seen that you can build on site, because
Right.
we couldn't do the crane. So they're like, "What are you going to do?" So this is one of the screen captures that I sent to them. What if we do this? And this is where Bill, the instigator, is in the other room. Don't just use one hook, do 3 hooks. Let's Oh, Bill.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, we had
What
sent
is
him.
going on there?
So the idea here is there's 3 pulleys that are hooked to 3 shark hooks. These 3 shark hooks are hooked to a pulley under the back of my chair, and I have to escape the shackles around my neck and around my wrists before a weight drops and tears my cheeks, my tongue out.
Oh, that's so gross.
It's even grosser when you think that came out of our brains while we were locked up in COVID.
Yeah, that's
So,
a gnarly one.
It's not, it wasn't a good look. And thankfully they didn't choose this one. Okay? Thankfully
Okay.
they didn't choose this. So anyway, this was what the room looked like. It was just a small room. The windows didn't open. We were on the 12th floor, and it was, you were locked. To be honest with you, if I would imagine it's what prison would be like, because there's just nothing. I started to write on the my days
gosh.
on the mirror so that I could mark the days, and I kept all my water bottles, and we would fill the water bottles. Bill would do the same. We saved all our water bottles, we filled them and tied them together and put them in our pillowcases, and we would walk back and forth from the front door to the window like a few hundred times for exercise, carrying the water bottles, because
No way.
16 days with no exercise is not good. So we developed an exercise routine, and we really had limited anything. Bill lost 30 pounds.
No kidding.
30 pounds.
Yeah, you don't even think about that, do you?
No, that was him when we got there, and that was him when he got out of the room. He, Bill, if you're watching, if I didn't tell them about the diabetic food, you might not have lost the 30 pounds. Okay? but
So
with
now you did him a favor.
I did him a favor, right? So with the exercise and the stuff, I mean, it did well for him. And then we got out after 16 days. 16 days in lockdown.
How long did it take for you to, like, did you feel any kind of mental, did you begin to lose your mind? Like, surely that much time in complete
100%.
isolation.
I first of all, I was dealing with so much emotional baggage with the loss of my son and then the separation from my family.
Sure.
I will say to you, for the year and a half that we had been locked together in our homes, you really develop it turns out you develop a relationship with them. You're under such close quarters for so long. So I was struggling to be away from my wife and children. I was dealing with the loss of my son, and then I was in this isolation and the fear of the unknown. So one of the things is we would get the food delivered to us 3 times a day, and then in the evening at 7 o'clock, a nurse in a hazmat suit would come in and test us for COVID every day. So if at the end of 16 days you were COVID free, then I actually got a certificate. They give you a certificate that says I survived the Sydney's COVID hotel. Yeah.
No way.
And I'll post it in comments, a picture of the Sydney certificate in comments. And I have to say that I'm sure a lot of people didn't get that type of isolation like we did, but we wanted to get into the country and we wanted to do the show. Hugh Jackman was in the room above me.
No kidding.
He was in the COVID lockdown just like me, and I was following him on Instagram, and he I should post the picture of it too in comments. Anyway, on Instagram I posted he had posted the crappy meal that he got. Still nicer than my meal, Hugh. Okay, it was still nicer than mine, and he had this big suite with a balcony and all of that stuff. He was just above me, and he posted his meal. And anyway, I messaged him on Instagram and said, I'll have to look it up, but I said something like, "What did you think of the rice? I'm in the room below you." And he commented back and said, "I didn't mind it," or something like that.
No kidding.
And it was the only contact that he had made. But I think that the fact that we were posting the same picture, but from a different floor out of our window, I think that he probably, when he seen my comment, maybe went to my Instagram or my Facebook or whatever and seen that I was right below him, and that's probably what allowed that comment to happen. But either way, that's my claim to fame. I'll check that off my list. So, you know what's funny? He wasn't on the bus when I got out. He must have got a different ride. I'm sure he had a
no doubt
transportation.
Private limo. Hey.
Yeah. So we got
you made it out.
But we made it out, and I got to say, it was free. Nobody had masks. The country was COVID-free, so it was just like society was before it happened. And so we explored. I mean, I'd never been to Australia, and we got to do all of the things, and there was crowds and people. And to be honest with you, it almost felt odd, because coming from Canada, where everything was locked down and you couldn't even go to the store normally, you ordered your groceries, all kinds of stuff, going where there was just people walking on the street and people on the shuttles and on the buses, to be honest with you, it was odd. It was an odd experience being so isolated for so long. Forget the 16 days. The 16 months was made me feel that way. So anyway, here we are at AGT, and I started to meet the other contestants. Dan Myers, he's a fantastic sword swallower from I think he is in somewhere in the States, Arizona, I think. And then Wesley Williams, he is the red-haired gentleman to my left. He rides the world's highest a unicycle, and he is he's with a circus, and he travels all over the world. So they brought us all together, and we met all of these people, and we went to the studio, and we got pictures with all of these people who were competing on AGT. Australia's version of AGT.
Oh, nice.
And it was incredible. And we were all staying at the same hotel. So we ate together, and we went and explored together, and we did the most wonderful things. They were just the greatest group of people.
Nice.
And I must say, going through what I did with my son and all of that stuff, I became a family with these people, because it's surprising how you latch on to these people when you need that experience. And you know what I mean? Like, you hug a little tighter when you're allowed to hug and all of that stuff. Like, it was pretty incredible. So we did the whole experience, and AGT was Australia's Got Talent was about to take off, and it was fantastic. I got to see, I believe you've been to Australia. I think in conversation you were there as well.
Yeah, the coffee I'm drinking is right from Brisbane itself. Yeah. I love Australia. It's such a great country.
So having never been there, there's so many wonderful things. And it's just in Sydney, but the fish market and the bridge and the shopping and the people are very, very kind. I'm Canadian, and I found that a lot of the people shared the same type. Like, we're the type of people that you stop and open the door for somebody else, or if you're driving, you let them go. We're just like, go. No, we don't use our horn. You know what I mean? Like, just everyone take a turn. Yeah. So we explored Australia, and it was the best time. And I got to meet other entertainers from all over the world, other magicians, and we got to share information. Nice. And Australia took good care of us. Oh, yes.
Good.
I mean, being a part of AUGT, actually, is what it is, AU for Australia. But we did the same things. We did these wonderful commercials, and we explored. We had some of the greatest food. I went to this pizza place, and of course, we immediately went to the liquor store. Like, I mean, all of that's going to happen. And we went back to the hotel, and as we were sitting in the hotel, breaking news, they got their first case of COVID. Australia got the very first case. It was the second day that we were there. And
oh my God.
That country went in lockdown. And we put masks on.
Stop.
They sent us to a parking garage where we got COVID tests. They marked us COVID free. They sent us home.
No way.
They put us on a plane, and the airports were empty, and they sent us home.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm saying this to you, I'm almost crying, man. I'm saying this to you. It's the second time.
Right.
In our previous video... Because
you had previously done America's Got Talent.
In our previous video, that's it.
Shut you down.
I got right there. And for the America's Got Talent one, I got right there. We did the commercials. We were set up the next day. We were doing it. And the virus came out and it shut down. During COVID, the end of COVID, Australia is the only country without it. We do the isolation. We get the stuff. We go and shoot the commercials. We meet the people. And they get the test. And they send us home. They sent us home. Oh, my
gosh. So you were in Australia for like 18 days, 16 of them in total isolation.
Yeah, it was...
You had 2 good days where you met all these other people and you were having a good time, masks off and everything. Didn't get a chance to audition yet again.
No, and I got to say to you that it broke me. It broke me. Like, it some of the other staff, not the staff, some of the other contestants, we were all sharing a floor on a hotel, and Billy drew straws because we wanted to be fair. And I shouldn't be fair. Screw you, Billy. I want the good room next time, okay? I got to say to you, we drew straws as to who got what rooms because we wanted to be fair. And Billy got this huge suite, okay? Like a big living room and kitchen and all of this stuff. Billy, he's not even doing anything, okay? He gets the huge suite. And we all went to Billy's room, and there's a half dozen grown men in the room, and we just cried, and we were devastated because we had all did this lockdown, and we were free, and we were just about to shoot, and we had did commercials, and we had met the producers, and we had done all of that stuff, and we were going home, and I needed it to be good. After losing my son, I needed something good. I just needed something good. Listen, I'm a man. I needed something positive to happen in my life, and this was, in my mind, a second time. This was going to be the start of my career and something fantastic. And in the last video where we lost the AGT, when Australia's Got Talent called, I was like, this is it. This is my second chance. It was like the golden ticket a second time. And this was going to take me to that next level. And we were back on a plane and we were flying home again alone. And when we got home, we landed, and it was just at the end of how we looked at COVID, and people were starting to get out again, and people were starting to, you could go for groceries. You still wore a mask and looked at everybody like that you were going to catch something, but we were at the point where we were just opening, and I was just in a country that was just at the start of closing.
Right.
And I went home to no career again. I went home to no shows, no job, and to a family that I had to say that didn't work out. And it was dark at home because I'd lost my son, and I just needed to bring some sunshine home from Australia. And I gotta say, it was a lonely walk home from the airport, so to speak. It was another devastating, hard time and loss, and I needed it. So when I got home, life goes on, and you got to find a reason to keep going. So I put my head down, and I waited for the phone to ring, and I waited for something else to happen. And within a few weeks, Australia did call back, and Australia did say that we were scheduled to go back in the next 3 or 4 months regardless. The country just needed to get a handle on things, and in a few months I got to go back, and that's just another story.